So the Bible says, simple people believe anything, but prudent people give thoughts to their steps. That's Proverbs chapter 14, verse 15. Now listen, nobody wants to be labeled as simple, and we for sure don't want our kids to be looked at as simple. But this verse is telling it like it is. Gullible people believe whatever they hear without thinking it through. On the other hand, wise and cautious people carefully consider their choices and actions. And as parents, we have to train our children to think critically and seek understanding so they're not easily misled by everything they see or are told. Because here's the truth. The world is full of noise. You have opinions, influencers, you got media. They're constantly telling our kids what to think. And if we don't teach them how to think, they'll fall for anything. And how many of you know that's already too dangerous, right? So let's talk about how to raise kids who are discerning, wise, and confident in their own minds. Our kids are watching us all of the time. How we make decisions, how we react to new information, how we handle situations where we don't have all of the answers. So if we want them to develop strong and critical thinking skills, they need to see us thinking critically ourselves. Not just hear us talk about it, but actually witness how we process information in real life. Let's say your child comes home from school, right? And they share something that a friend told, something that you already know just doesn't sound quite right. Use it as an opportunity to teach them how to think. You could respond with, you know what? That's interesting. Let's find out if that's really true. You guys can look it up together on a trusted resource, but my point is walk them through the process of how to properly find out the truth. The goal isn't to just correct them. It's to train their brain to ask questions, investigate, and not just accept everything at face value. Or maybe it happens while they're watching YouTube. We've all been there. You're just trying to get a few minutes to yourself. So you put on a show that you think is safe, but then right on cue, it never fails. An ad pops up with some wild claim. And you get that feeling like, that just doesn't sound right. Instead of just hitting skip, use that as a moment to say it out loud. So you know what? Wow, that sounds crazy. Let's double check that, right? And so by doing this, you're showing your kids just because something is on screen or it's trending, or maybe it's said with a lot of confidence, that just doesn't make it true. You're giving them the tools to think for themselves, to ask questions, and to develop a mindset that seeks truth, not just the loudest or most popular answer. We live in a time where information is everywhere, but so is misinformation. If our kids don't learn how to tell the difference, they'll end up believing whatever sounds convincing. The next thing we can do to help our kids think critically, which I think is a game changer, is to just ask better questions. The way we question our kids can either shut down their thinking or ignite a whole world of curiosity. I realized this early on with my kids. I realized that if I asked them simple questions, I would get simple answers. But if I asked them something like, why do you think that? Or how do you know that that is true? I'm making them pause, reflect, and actually think through their reasoning. And here's the key. As much as you can, and as often as you can, ask them open-ended questions. Because when we ask questions that require more than just a yes or no answer, we're training their brains to think critically. We're pushing them beyond just memorizing facts or just repeating what they've heard. Instead, they start processing, analyzing, and making connections on their own. And that's a skill that will serve them for the rest of their lives. Try asking them, why do you feel that way? Or what made you think that? You'll be amazed at what they come up with. They learn how to articulate and express themselves clearly. Instead of those short, automated responses, they start forming well thought out ideas and learning how to communicate them. You're giving them a chance to practice coming up with solutions, not just looking for the easiest answers. At the end of the day, we don't want to raise kids who just follow the crowd. We want to raise kids who think for themselves, who have confidence in their own thoughts, and who trust their ability to reason through things. We're not just making conversations more interesting, you're showing them that their ideas matter. And lastly, let's start using everyday tasks as opportunities for growth. The small routine moments that our kids have every single day, whether it's doing chores, getting dressed, packing a bag for school, these are some of the best chances for our kids to problem solve in real time. Think about how often we step in to show them the right way, right? Whether it be because they're taking too long, or we want it done faster, or maybe we just want it done neater. But what if instead of doing it for them, we gave them the space to figure it out? Let's say your child is loading the dishwasher, or they're sweeping the floor or folding laundry. Instead of correcting them immediately, let them try it their way first. Now, will it be the most efficient method? Probably not. Will it be a little messy? Absolutely. But that's okay. The point is to let them think through the process on their own. Now listen, when they start struggling, which they will, or they're getting frustrated after a few attempts, resist that urge to take over immediately. Instead, ask better questions. Just like we talked about earlier. You can simply say, hey, I see you working extremely hard, and it looks like at the same time you're getting frustrated. Do you think that there's a way that you could try that will make this easier or make this better? That simple shift changes everything. They start seeing challenges as puzzles to solve, thinking through their approach rather than just going through the motions. And if they still need help, that's your moment to guide without taking over. Here's what I mean. Instead of saying, here, do it like this, you could ask, what if you tried this method? How do you think that would help? This subtle shift keeps the responsibility on them. They're now learning to analyze and adjust, which is exactly what critical thinking is all about. These small moments repeated over time create kids who think, evaluate, and problem solve in everything they do. If you're still watching this video, I hope you found this video helpful and valuable. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe so we can stay connected, and share this with someone who needs it. And remember, like I always say, if we do our part and we do it well, our kids can be more, they can do more, and they can go out and show the world exactly what they're capable of. I'll see you guys in the next video.